So this is Stephanie Dombowski, and I'm Spinstress in the Making, and I'm going to show you how I generally take care of my yarn after I've spun it, plied it, and then I'm going to wash it to set the twist. So what you see is I have a basin in my sink, and it's filled with actually very hot water. And then I've added this wash to it. You can find this at most of your local yarn stores. It's mainly to help clean garments. It's very soft on your yarn. Before I had that, I used to use something like dish soap, but I only used a very small amount, like maybe just the size of my pinky finger. And you just get a tiny bit of suds for that. But remember, it's dish soap. It can be pretty harsh and it's pretty strong, so you only want to use a tiny bit. You can go a little bit more with this because it's meant for cleaning wool. And so you see I have my basin. I filled it up with very hot water with a little bit of the cleaner, and I submerged my yarn into it, and then I just pressed it down with some gloves on because it is hot again. I pressed it down to get the air out so that it wouldn't really float at the top, and then I'm letting it sit for about 25 minutes. I don't agitate my yarn. If you agitate your yarn, you risk the chance of felting your yarn. So you just want to let it sit there and do its thing, and after 25 minutes you can also kind of tell how the dye is going to work in your yarn, because sometimes you wash your yarn and it's set very well and you don't really get a lot of water that's changed color. But as you can see, I'm just going to put my hand in there really quick. It has quite a bit of dye left in my vat. So I might have to do a few extra rinses just to make sure the water runs clear at that point. But now that it's set for about 20 minutes, I am going to take it out and fill my basin with cold water. And so I go from a very hot water to a cold water, and that actually shocks your fibers and kind of helps revitalize the twist in it. So it's kind of just gives it this nice little spring again. So I'm going to get my yarn. And I did put ties throughout the whole entire yarn so that it's just easier to pick up. In general, as a skein, you can easily keep it separated and neat. And I don't really squeeze. Kind of let gravity do the work when it's taking the water out. And if you do squeeze, you do gentle squeezes. Nothing where you're going to be agitating your yarn a lot and causing felting. I just squeeze it like that to help get some of the extras out. And as you can see, again, that is pretty orange. So I empty my basin out, and now I'm going to do cold water, or as cold as your tap water will get. And if you're washing in very hot water, this will still be a relatively good shock. If you want to add more of a shock factor to your yarn, add a few ice cubes, but I've never really gone that far to shock my yarn. So I just fill it up again. I'm going to actually let this drain out of the basin. As you can see, it's a pretty nice. This is the yarn that was on my Ashford e-spinner, and it's showing more yellow-orange in the camera than in real life, but it's kind of like a nice dark pumpkin orange, and it's definitely a lace weight. So this is going to go back in, and I'm going to push this to the side so it's not really agitating, and I can start putting it back in on this side so it's not being agitated. You just kind of push it down again just to get any air out of it, and to get it completely submerged in water. And depending on how the rinsing goes, I may do another rinse or two of hot water to try and get the rest of the dye out. But on my last rinse, I like to add a tiny bit, like a teaspoon to up to like 2 teaspoons of regular vinegar, just to help add some acidity back into the vat, and it will hopefully help reduce any more of your dye coming out. It helps to set the yarn a little bit more. So that's basically what I do for cleaning. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and let me know how you clean your yarns. If you do it a different way, I'll always love to hear people's different choices for their hand spun. Have a good night.